Awful, awful, awful news this week. Not looking forward to it. But we got to talk about it. It's the news worth knowing. So we're talking about East Palestine. Palestine. You know, there's been some debate about what it's actually called. But I think a bunch of Palestinians came and founded the town. Why not? You know, but I mean, East Palestine, let's call it Palestine so people don't get it confused. And, you know, so East Palestine, Ohio. I'm going to try to get through this straight face, try not to make jokes because this is very serious. So East Palestine, Ohio residents uneasy about the toxic chemicals after returning home. Quote, it's scary stuff here. Video journalist Nick Sodor and East Palestine, Ohio residents Nathan Izadek, is that your real name? Be serious. And his wife Kelly spoke out about the Biden administration's response to the toxic chemical spill in the state after a Norfolk Southern train derailed in early February. East Palestine Fire Chief Keith Drabick said on February 7th that the air and water testing showed it was safe for residents to return home. However, some of those who have done so have reported sick and dying animals in the area. Nathan Zadok and his wife are very concerned about the effects of the chemical release. We are seeing them locally and inside of our bodies. What we're experiencing, local fish in our creeks have died, oily sheens and coloration in our water, the constant smell of burning plastics and chemicals in the air, issues with our dog, vomiting, acting lethargic. It's scary stuff here, he said on Tuesday on Tucker Carlson. His exotic, added that he and his family have returned home to live roughly 2 miles from where the incident happened. Excuse me. Although officials have said that it's safe for residents to return, he said his family still doesn't feel comfortable. As soon as we got to the Ohio line, we immediately smelled the chemicals yet again. Does the scent not pass state borders? Anyway, since then, I now have chemical burns, and a reaction rash on my face. And my throat is getting irritated again, and I'm feeling very uneasy, he explained. Yeah, I'd leave. If you're in that area, I would leave. Holy cow. Video journalist Nick Sotor told host Tucker Carlson the attitude on the ground in Ohio is one of annoyance and frustration with the Biden administration. He said he spoke with the residents who told him the Environmental Protection Agency hasn't talked with any of them despite living near the burn site. I spoke with a small business owner. Their business was right in front of where the explosion was. They can't get anything out of the EPA, Sotor said. The federal government came in for a few days, took over their entire business, and would not let them in. The EPA also, this is a quote, the EPA also wouldn't talk to them and wouldn't give them a plan, wouldn't tell them anything. And that's exactly how it's going for everybody that's in the town. So they don't know if they're going to be abandoned by the federal government. And they don't know if their town is going to be wiped off the map. It's really sad when you're talking to these people because they are terrified that this town that they grew up in, that they've lived in their entire lives, is going to be completely demolished by people having to leave, people scared to even come back into town, he continued. There's a myriad of people that do not believe the EPA's assessment that their town is okay to go back into. So they just haven't bothered. And that is a really scary to think that the federal government cannot be trusted enough to be able to tell us whether or not it's safe to go in an area like this. West Virginia American Water, a utility company that monitors the water quality along the Ohio River, said it was enhancing its water treatment process as a precaution, and that it was going to install a secondary intake in the Goyandote River. Forgive me, never even heard of that river. In case there's a need to switch to an alternative water source. Okay, I did hear that they have an alternate water source. But I'll get to that. The EPA's Great Lakes region tweeted on Tuesday that it screened 396 homes and no detections of vinyl chloride or hydrogen chloride were identified, with 64 additional homes are left to screen. At this time, our air monitoring has not detected any levels of a health concern that could be attributed to the incident, EPA Great Lakes wrote. Oh, my God. You know, the Ohio River feeds into the Mississippi, all right? And that area, like where the Ohio River feeds into the Mississippi, is like some of the greatest farmlands in this country. All right? Lots and lots of farmland at this convergence. What do they call it? A confluence. You know, this could have effects on crops. This could have effects on our food supply. This could have effects on people like from storms. Like if storm clouds come over the mountains towards us, we could get like acid rain, hydrochloric acid rain here in Fredericksburg. All right? Or it could go further west, into like Kentucky, Illinois. Geography's failing me. Is it Illinois is next to the west? I don't know. But the point is that, then all the way down the Mississippi, you could have, chemicals all the way down the Mississippi going all the way down to New Orleans. This is not good. This is not good. And Pete Buttigieg, he's clearly been sleeping on the job. Clearly been sleeping on the job. I understand if you got your job just for the simple fact that you're gay, or you tick off some sort of box. But if you get that job, you better do it to the best of your ability, no matter what. Because I'm the citizen. I'm the person who's affected by your screw ups. So you need to start taking your jobs more seriously. How many people have been sleeping on the job to allow this to happen? The people at Norfolk Southern, the Department of Transportation, FEMA, EPA. Where's all these environmentalists that are crying, always crying about the environment? And it's like, look at this. Look at this. I'm a conservative. I don't think global warming is the problem you think it is, but this is a very serious, real problem that we can all see. And going back to Norfolk Southern, apparently from what I've heard or gleaned or assimilated through reading and hearing about these news stories, is that Norfolk Southern initiated this burn intentionally because of all this chemicals after a railroad derailment. All right. And speaking of railroad derailments, something like 1,000 of those plus happen a year. All right. And Pete Buttigieg, he needs to be the guy who's as soon as he gets to that job, he needs to be saying bring me the stats on how many derailments we have a year and other transportation problems, and see if there's a way we can get this number down. All right. Hazardous material incidents measure in the thousands in the United States. This kind of stuff happens every day. But Norfolk Southern appears to have made a decision based upon expedience in order to get the railroad moving again, and intentionally lit this fire of chemicals. And all these people who may be affected by this may have a class action lawsuit against Norfolk Southern and possibly even the U.S. government. So those of you who weren't red-pilled yet, this should red-pill you to the max. Because this is their government with their hands in their pants. That's all they're doing. They're over there in Washington playing with themselves.